That's a lot of effort that we had to go through all of that, dude. We're getting close. We're getting close. A little too close for comfort. And by that I mean it's like 11:30. We've been going for 7.5 hours. Not Apollo, much love, brother. I appreciate you, Element. Thank you for hanging around. Green path. I'm over here at the snack station, so I go all the way down and just make a hard right. Where am I? This is the Queen's Gardens. Oh. I feel a lot better knowing that I actually finished that trial. Like, completing that is very, very nice. Who's the fool now? So here's my issue, is I don't actually think this journal is complete. And the only reason why I think that is because we accidentally unlocked the God Home, and there were bosses we haven't beaten in the Pantheon. Yep. There are still bosses that remain that we haven't completed, and enemies that we haven't discovered. So the journal's not complete. Which just leaves us with one last thing to do. This is a tough decision. I wish I could equip this. Oh, I know what I want to equip. Never mind. And you know what? I'm putting the compass back on. Alright. I think it's time. I say as I get bodied. So I don't know what's going to happen here in this area. I don't know if this is going to be a whole level. I don't know if it's just going to be a straight fight. But this is what I do know. My guess is it is going to be a whole level. If anything happens, if I suddenly go mute, I will more than likely mute if credits roll. And we'll see what happens from here. Other than that, I don't know what else to say. Other than let's just forward unto dawn or darkness. Vessel, though bound, you shall know the state of the world. Hollowness will be whole again. Completion percentage viewable in inventory. locked in. The statue's up ahead. A statue, perhaps? I'm locked in here. Oh. Well done on achieving this great feat. You persevered and you triumphed. We hope you enjoyed yourself in the world of Hollow Knight. We'll meet again soon on the road ahead. And we just saw the end of Hollow Knight. So here are things that I have noticed. First, I want to talk about the final boss, the Hollow Knight himself. What an amazing boss. A little underwhelming with how quickly I beat it, but I'm also very, very, very satisfied that I beat it on the first try. It got a little hairy, but we pulled through. And his design is probably by far my favorite. Obviously, it's fitting that the very last boss is the last boss. Like, the last boss is obviously the coolest, and it's so good that they pulled that through. He's probably still my second favorite next to the Soul Master, but he comes real close to taking the top just by design alone. When we got to that bench inside of the temple, we opened up a menu that showed how much completion we've gotten. We've beaten the game with 101% completion. I just looked through the achievement lists, and here's what I know. There are multiple endings to Hollow Knight. Not only that, but you can beat the game with 112%. There's like 4 or 5 different speedrunning achievements, and there's a lot of things that we have missed and haven't seen, and events that we didn't finish. One of the events that we didn't finish is that we could have left Zodi the Mighty to die somewhere, and we don't know where that is. It's quite possible that if we finish that nightmare section with him, then there's an opportunity for us to leave him to die. We never found Bretta, so we never completed her mission. There's a lot that we missed. That being said, Hollow Knight by far takes the cake as probably one of my favorite games of all time. The experience, the immersion, the atmosphere, the gameplay, the world itself, everything about it was amazing. And one of my favorite things about this game is there's a lot of games out there with the silent protagonist. The SteelSeries, for example. Y'all know how much I love the SteelSeries. There's also Halo, even though the Master Chief does have dialogue. He does kind of play the part as the silent protagonist. Doom also comes to mind. I don't know much about Doom, but I'm pretty sure. But if I remember correctly, there's no dialogue in Doom from the main character himself. Silent protagonist idea is very cool. It allows you to put your place in that character's position instead. But what this does is the thing that element lacks with the silent protagonist is it lacks the it lacks a little bit of connection. You feel no connection to your character, other than this is your vessel that you are controlling to progress through this world and explore it. With Hollow Knight, one of my favorite things about it are the little mannerisms of the little vessel that you carry, or that you control. When you look up or down to examine the world around you, his head bobs up and down. You can see him holding the map. If you're standing still and holding the map, you can see him in the background holding the map, and you can move him and you see him moving around holding the map. When you explore dark areas, he's carrying a tiny little lamp with him, like a little buddy, like a little guide holding his hand to guide him through the darkness. There's just so many things about just the player character alone that I love so much. Not to mention the characters in this game are also so good. I felt a weird, strange attachment to every single one of them, whether it be good or bad. Like Zodi the Mighty, I despised him with a burning passion. I never know what happened to Tiso. I never saw him in the arena or in the Coliseum. If it wasn't for the fact that my stream was scuffed at the time and a lot of things happened that broke my immersion, I damn near cried when Cloth died. I was in tears. I was in tears when Cloth died. I'm not gonna lie. That was very heartbreaking for me. Um, Finding Quirrell, even though I was convinced he was the bad guy, but he was helping us the whole time, and seeing him at the edge of the blue lake, peaceful and serene. Even the nailsmith himself, I felt a weird attachment to, because that one final moment where he asks you to, where makes a request of you that the last thing he wants to feel is the strength of a pure nail, and he was the one that forged it by his hand. That interaction in and of itself was very, very, it was heavy, it was emotional. There's so many little things about this game that is done so well. Not to just mention the map and the design of the world around it, like the world that we are exploring. There is so much. This game is so well thought out for such a small team to work on it. From the map design in and of itself, the secrets that you can find, what happens when you start backtracking, the events that you can see that you can miss, all these little things come together, make such a glorious and just immersive and fantastic and magical experience of a video game. And I haven't felt something like that in a very, 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 very long time. I think even when I played Dragon Age Origins, which used to be one of my favorite games, I didn't feel the immersion in that game, because when I play those kinds of games, I play them in a very weird way, but this was something else entirely. And that the ending alone bring like tugs on the heartstrings. You're with this character the whole time. You're not controlling him. You're with him the whole time. And to see him face the Hollow Knight alone after everything he's been through, only to become the vessel himself and seal away the infection for all eternity, it's like it tugs on you a little bit. I don't know what else to say. There hasn't been a single I've had my frustrations. I've hit roadblocks and stuff like that, but overall, those roadblocks are nothing more than just a fault of my own. At the end of the day, I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to give like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 rating of this video game, but this takes the cake. Like, everything about it was just fantastic, and I'm so glad I finally, to ditch Apex and go to this was such a refresher. Like, it was absolutely worth it in every way, shape, and form. It was, I don't know what else to say. It was such a good experience. Like, my heart feels heavy with the fact that we've just seen the end of the adventure, but there's still so much more to see in this world, and I don't know, man. This I might platinum this game. Not gonna lie, I might platinum it for the sake of doing it. I don't know how that's gonna roll around, but I might spend some time trying to platinum it. I don't know how well the speedrunning is gonna work, but we'll see what happens. That being said, before we move on, we're going to see what happens when we press the continue button. It can be one of two things. Either we start from the very beginning again in a new game plus version. That's kind of what I want to see. I want to see if we get I want to see if things change a little bit, if the game becomes a little more difficult and whatnot. I want to see what happens. I don't think that's actually what's going to happen, but we're going to see what comes about the end of the credits. After that, we're going to, I imagine you have the emptiness some people feel after finishing a great book or something like that. It does feel like that. It does feel like that. To see the end of the story of a world that you've been so immersed, it's like, it's rough. It's a different emotion. So satisfying. So satisfying. We're going to see what happens next. And then I'm going to find someone to raid, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going to happen next. So let's see what the continuation is. Not bad. Steel Soul mode unlocked. No shade. No reviving. Death is permanent. The ultimate challenge. Wow. So it's a no death version. One of the achievements is completing a Steel Soul run in like less than 5 hours or less than 20 hours or something like that. The title screen even changed. The design of this game is just... nothing beats it, dude. I haven't seen a game that beat this in so long. What happens when I click this save? I think it's going to put me at the bench. That's exactly what happened. So what that means... we're going to go back to Dirtmouth. Because there's one other thing I wanted to check and I forgot about it. How many hits was that? Still can't. He's still here, the monster. I heard a piercing cry from the well. It echoed about my mind and left me all a daze. Say it was a foul beast's death, but this cry sounded different, divine. Has something happened, little traveler? No, don't tell me. If foul events are brewing, it's probably better I do not know. Does everyone have something to say? How are your travels now, Master? As time goes by, I'm sure you'll only grow stronger. Tell them I carry them in my thoughts always, and that they should come and buy something from their old teacher as a mark of respect. Even Sly. I like Sly. So, what that means is that now I am given the opportunity to go through the entire map again and explore it as thorough as possible with a guide, obviously, to figure out all the little secrets that I missed and what I can find. I'm missing like 3 or 4 charms and something like that. I can go back to the Colosseum Fools and try the Trial of the Fool again with taking less damage and see if I get a better reward out of it. There's so much that I can see and do. I can go and find Bretta. what I find interesting that the fact that we beat the boss and restarted the save file, and that someone reacted to that, tells me that there might be some things that have changed, unless it's just tiny little tidbits here and there. But for the most part, it looks like the whole point of having your main save at that bench is so you can come back after you finish the game, do as much exploring as you can, try to see if there's anything that you missed, unlocked everything that you clear up everything you haven't finished, and then you go back and you beat the boss again and see if you can figure out how to get the different endings. I think I know how to get one of them, but that's just speculation. So that's that. That's it. That's Hollow Knight.